here interviewing John and Chantelle Owens. Welcome.
Thank you.
Can you please start by giving us a summary of your journey so far? Must I talk?
It started with you.
I'm the problem.
I joined in the middle.
So we got married in 2016. So I think our journey started there. I always knew I was going to struggle to fall pregnant because I had a diagnosis of having endometriosis. But after a year, it was about a year that we tried to fall pregnant, nothing happened. So I always just assumed it's the endometriosis. So then after 2 years, I told my husband, I think there's something more wrong. So that's when we actually first saw a fertility specialist. And he then did a few blood tests, and then he told me I have premature ovarian failure as well. So that was a big shock for me. It almost felt like I got a kind of death sentence, because as a woman, you don't want to hear you're going almost menopause when you're 27 years old. So then we started treatment in 2018. 2018. Obviously, we first started trying naturally with supplements and changing our lifestyle and everything, and then eventually we switched doctors, and then they told us our only option is IVF. We don't even need to waste our time with anything else, and it's time sensitive, so we have to do it like now. So we had to struggle to get, what was the initial payment, 75,000 rand, to get just our first treatment done, and we didn't have an option. We just had to have the money because we didn't have any more time left.
Yeah, we were basically told that if her eggs could, I use my own terminology, but her eggs could literally dry up at any time.
Yeah.
And if we don't do it now, we also have got we don't know what the chances are, so we're taking a big chance, and we have to start now.
Every cycle, I'm losing more and more eggs, so it was time sensitive. So then we did IVF in last year, March 2019, and luckily for us, our first transfer was successful, and here she is today.
Yeah. Well, I think that, when you think of having kids, it's actually supposed to be a very easy thing. You're supposed to get married, and then hopefully wife's on the pill, and then she goes off the pill, and then after a couple of months, you're pregnant. And I think the hardest thing is you start doubting yourselves, you start wondering, and it's just the emotional stress that you put yourself under because of it. That's one of the things. And then I think financially, it's just something you cannot prepare for. Doesn't matter, you just can't.
Some of it. They didn't even cover blood tests or any medications. And the medication that you go on is actually beneficial to your health because it makes you a healthier person. So it doesn't make sense for them not to cover it. I think in the small stuff would have made a big difference in the end. Just covering a treatment here or there, like the hysteroscopy or the HCG test. The small stuff, that would have gone a long way.
I've got one question for medical aids. How do you cover self-inflicted illnesses, but you cannot cover an illness or a disease that is not self-inflicted, that affects 1 in 6 people? How do you do that? If I smoke and I get lung cancer, you're going to pay for my treatments as long as I've got medical aid. But I chose to smoke, where we didn't choose to go through this, but we pay our medical aid. It doesn't make sense. Not at all. There's some male infertility, there's some things, obesity and stuff like that could contribute towards it. But, most of the things most of the infertility issues is not self-inflicted. I'm healthy, she's healthy. She was 26 years old when she was diagnosed with premature ovarian failure. It's like basically telling a 26-year-old you're going into menopause. You can't do that to yourself, Who needs that surgery? Healthy people that look after themselves, But also, I think it's a smart decision from Vitality to Discovery to do it because, overweight people will abuse the medical aid so it's smart. I look at it and I think, you know what, the first medical aid that jumps on the bandwagon and says, you know what, we will cover fertility treatments, I believe millions of people will move to that. So financially, you know, I mean, I don't even run a medical aid scheme, but to me it makes sense. Well, why doesn't it make sense?
And people going through infertility are actually very healthy people, because you go on fertility diets and you drink shakes and have all these supplements. So we're actually the healthiest people that you will meet. So why not assist us? You know? But I think because medical aids don't recognize infertility, a lot of people don't speak about it, and that creates a bigger stigma and a taboo, and it creates this whole division between we feel discriminated upon because we have this infertility, but now we can't speak about it because it's not openly recognized. And I think as soon as medical aids start to recognize it as actually a problem and it needs assistance, maybe a lot of more people will speak about infertility and what they're going through. It removes the shame, I think, definitely.
I mean, we've got a page that we started called Owens IVF Journey. The day that we had our first appointment with a specialist, and we decided to share our journey. And it wasn't just about, you know, sharing our story. We wanted people to talk about their story. We have had hundreds, if not thousands, of people that have made contact with us, going, you know, my husband doesn't want me to talk about it because it's taboo in the family. We have been battling to have kids for how many years? No one in the family knows about it. We just tell them, oh, we've been putting it off. Because the day that they will now start going for treatments, they need the money, and now all of a sudden, where's all your money going? And it's the shame that follows it. But if medical aids go, look, we'll cover it, it's something that we understand 1 in 6 people will be going through, we'll cover it. You know, the shame will not be there because, you know, it's a recognized thing, you know. I don't think people that make those decisions put the human element in their decisions. I think they think of it as a company, financially, and the future of the company. At the end of the day, people pay medical aid. Without people, medical aid schemes will not be in existence. And I think that they sometimes have to look at the human element. Just because it's not life-threatening doesn't mean it is not life-changing, you know. And maybe they should just look at the human element. You know, sometimes listen to people before you make your decisions.
And the medical aids cover other treatment that isn't life-threatening either. So it's really just infertility that's being discriminated against.
But how many people before those treatments were there? How many people was barking up that tree before they gave in? And I just think somewhere along the line, enough people shouting the same thing will eventually, I mean, we're close to marching to Discovery's offices. We're this close to doing it. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about millions of people in South Africa suffering from it. And I just think somewhere along the line, we need a voice. And I think FASA hopefully will be that voice that gets everybody together. And you know what, maybe a year, 2, 5 years from now, we can sit here and we can go, well, now we can have kids stress-free.